Mr. Lieutenant Governor, Senate Pro Tem Papin, Speaker Egoff, leaders of both parties, honorable members of the judiciary, honorable tribal representatives, distinguished guests, and of course my family that I don't know can last another hour in the chambers. My fabulous fiance, the first Manny of New Mexico. And I know they've been introduced, but I've been separated from them for a couple hours now. My lovely granddaughter, Avery. Her mother, my daughter, Taylor Stewart. My daughter, Erin Grisham. Her nephew, Mason Stewart, who's hiding in there. And my wonderful brother, Gregory Lujan. Now, in this moment, on this new day, we stand together on the precipice of immeasurable opportunity. Now, I'm ready to begin the climb, and I believe that you are too. And esteemed members of the House of Representatives and the New Mexico Senate, there's 60 days, you probably didn't know that, of hard work ahead of us. 60 days, and each one of those days represents the chance to make a meaningful, positive difference in the lives of every single New Mexican. And I know 60 days is a long time. And I know a lot can happen in 60 days. I mean, I might even start to like Representative Debbie Armstrong. And I firmly believe what we accomplish in these 60 days will set the course for a transformed state, a stronger and better state, not just in the next 4 years, but for decades, generations to come. This right now is the beginning. This right now is our moment, and I am humbled and honored to be a part of it and to share it with all of you. And I know in this first session of the 54th legislature, we're going to remind New Mexico what it looks like when a governor and lawmakers commit to working together, commit to working through our differences and the challenges we face with open hearts, with open minds, and with understanding for the person sitting across the table or across the aisle. Together, we're going to go show New Mexico how much good can be done when our two branches of government communicate clearly with each other, when we do the hard work to find consensus, when we win with humility and we lose with grace, when we express our disagreements with civility, and we always keep the honest and hardworking people of this state foremost in our thoughts. And I want, thank you. All right. And in this moment, I want every New Mexican out there and right here to hear me now. Get excited. Stay excited. Get active. Stay active. Please raise your voices and raise your hopes and hold them up high. And I want you, esteemed members of the legislature, to hear me when I say the eyes of the entire state are upon us. Each of you must work for your constituents. In this moment and in the months ahead, we must also work together for the larger constituency of New Mexico, this magnificent state we are all so lucky to call home. Now, it has been said that those of us who won office this fall had some pretty good timing. It has been said that we are all entering office at an opportune moment, and I agree. But this moment is greater than the state of our budget, or any of the numbers that suggest we can now begin to make the transformative investments our schools, our economy, and our communities have always deserved. You see, I believe this is an opportune moment, perhaps the greatest moment in the history of the state, because today we have the strength and the vision, and all of us have the willpower to deliver together. The state of our incredible state is enthusiastic, ambitious, and ready. That's ready. speech on the screen, and then you'll know when you're supposed to do that. I'm talking to you, Senator. We have to have a little fun because it's a long day and it's an important day. And I hope that, I know you do, you share my excitement for this incredible start. And because you share my optimism about this moment, and I believe that you share my conviction that when we commit to doing the people's business, our potential and the positive change we can make for this state is absolutely unlimited. Responsible, game-changing investments have been waiting to be made for years, decades in some cases. And our shared priority is progress. We have every tool at our disposal right now, and it's time to begin. So, when I unveiled my budget last week, I showed you I meant what I said in my inaugural address. We are aiming high, and I invite you to aim high right alongside me. We're going to deliver a moonshot for public education in the state of New Mexico. Moonshot look like? Well, it's $500 million for our classrooms. New money put to its best possible use right now. The transformation starts on the front lines in our schools and in each and every single classroom. You see, for far too long, the educators of New Mexico have been underpaid. On too many occasions, they have had to reach deep into their own pockets to buy necessary supplies for their students. Now, things can and will be different and better starting now. We are going to raise our educators' salaries by 6% across the board. And to make sure that we've got equity, we're on top of that going to raise the minimum salaries for every level of educators by at least 10%. And we're putting $5 million into a fund for teachers to buy supplies for their classrooms so that they are no longer paying out of pocket. We are raising principals' minimum salaries and instituting a $12 minimum wage for every level of educational personnel, every single person in our school buildings. And we will do this because we will no longer just say we value the professionals in our schools, we will show them. We need our educators, who are truly the best in the nation, to know that this is a state that will support them and treat them with the respect that they deserve and, in fact, have always deserved. We need our diligent professional school workers to know that this state recognizes the impact that they have on our children and, in fact, on our entire future. So, ladies and gentlemen, no more lip service. Let's just get that done. We are putting our values into action. When we commit to paying our educators and school personnel more, we show them that they are wanted here, that they are needed here, and that we know that they are on the front lines of change in this state and will be compensated like it. To truly and meaningfully transform public education, we must also be proactive, and we must begin at the beginning. The research is unanimous and it's unequivocal. Children who attend preschool are far better prepared than those who don't. It is really as simple as that, and we can make that a reality for every single New Mexico 3- and 4-year-old. checking to see if my 3-year-old went off to school. And if that weren't enough, research has also shown children who come from poor and disadvantaged families have the most to gain from preschool, as do dual language learners and Spanish-speaking children. This is not a discussion to have in the abstract. These are real children in our state who need and deserve a better start that this state can provide for them, always could, every single one of them. And so we will provide for them. Together, we will do this. And why am I so confident? Because this is the session, this is the year, this is the moment. We put New Mexico on a path to universal pre-K for every New Mexico child, right? We need the classroom slots, we need the educators, and we need the educators who will educate the educators, which is why this budget, my budget, also calls for investing $60 million in new pre-K classroom slots so we increase our statewide enrollment to 80% within the next 5 years. And that includes money for early childhood educator scholarships, so that we are proactively building and supporting the next generation of top flight educators in this state. Thank you. We may disagree about how we get there, but I think we all recognize that early childhood education is the foundation of everything else we want to achieve for our children and our families. We need to target our resources to communities that are currently underserved. Our most vulnerable populations, they need us to deliver. And frankly, I intend to eliminate the term achievement gap from our vocabulary because it is within our power to close those gaps and to ensure that every single child, every student, and every young adult in New Mexico has every opportunity no matter where they come from. This is exactly why I have proposed an almost 200% increase in our Indian Education Fund. Native American students will not be left behind. All right? We're just not going to do it. An additional $55 million for our bilingual and multicultural programs, training more dual language qualified teachers, and ensuring bilingual families will not be left behind. Together, we will hold up this state's diversity as our strength and our lifeblood. Let our unique multicultural identity, it should be a shining light for the entire country. Let us show the world. New Mexico can be that example. We can show the entire world how inclusion and empowerment make every one of us stronger. And I call on this legislature to explore every possible viable approach for educational empowerment, including a proposed constitutional amendment that will allow us to take a responsible pinch, poquito, of additional money from our permanent fund, ensuring that we can deliver an education system that works for every child and every family in this state. The time is right now. Now, this is when we do it. And I'll tell you why. The people of New Mexico, I believe they know that investment in our children is an absolute imperative. Now, a judge in Santa Fe has ordered us, all of us, to adequately provide for our at-risk students. But I didn't need to read a judge's order to know that we can do more, that we can do better, and that, in fact, we must. And on this, I believe we can all agree. No New Mexico student should ever fall through the cracks. We must seal those cracks, and we will. Together we will do this, and our communities will grow stronger. And I want our educators, our students, and our parents to also hear me now. There will be no more high-stakes testing in the state of New Mexico. And my first executive orders put us on a path toward a more effective evaluation system and away from the harmful legacy of PARCC. And I've ordered, some of them have snuck into my left, I have ordered our rejuvenated public education department to leverage the expertise within all of our communities by building a new assessment system from the ground up with the direct input of students, our teachers, our school administrators, our parents, and our community experts. From now on, we will emphasize teaching, not testing, and the result will be a new day in education for New Mexico. All right, and I want our educators and our students to hear me once again. We will do everything in our power to ensure safety in your classrooms, in your community libraries, in your homes, and in your public spaces. Because I believe, and I think you do too, that we all have a constitutional right to be safe in our communities. 400 New Mexicans lose their lives to gun violence every year. That is 400 too many. 400 souls, 400 futures, 400 of our neighbors. Our Department of Health will conduct a thorough study of gun violence, and we will get the data we need as quickly as we can. But right now, we also must take action where we know we must and can. And that means when this legislature adjourns, I expect to sign a bill that will ban those convicted of assault from purchasing or possessing a gun. I expect strengthened background checks, and I expect tighter restrictions on safekeeping to ensure children do not have access to firearms in the home. Now, with these common sense reforms, we can build a state where people who should not have firearms don't. Simple as that. And hunters and sportsmen and responsible gun owners also recognize the need for New Mexico to take steps towards smart, fair, effective gun violence prevention. And New Mexicans from every corner of the state stand with them. Thank you. And also, gone are the days where we settle for slogans, where we would rather look tough on crime than actually do the work and be smart on crime. Instead, we will empower our local public safety officers to enact community policing reforms, and we will build solutions to the drug addiction epidemic while holding bad actors accountable. That means intelligent, evidence-based criminal justice reform is in fact our pathway forward. And it is our pathway out of the violent crime that afflicts too many of our neighborhoods and communities. And as we recognize our public safety officers who pour their heart and soul into their communities, we also must recognize that those officers need a raise. And by aggressively pursuing federal grants and responsibly using the money that we have, we can implement proven recruitment and retention incentives, and we can ensure every single community in the state has the number and quality of officers it needs and deserves. When we are smart on crime, then we stay focused on repeat and violent offenders, domestic abusers, repeat drunk drivers, not the low-level and non-violent kids caught in a bad spot, right? We cannot give up on those kids. For those struggling with addiction within our criminal justice system, we must also provide effective treatment. We cannot give up on someone with a disease that is all too often linked to bad circumstances, not bad character, right? That means that we're going to be tough on the worst criminals, smart about investments and priorities, and never stop fighting to make our communities safe. This will be the session where we begin to win the fight against the scourge of opioid addiction in our communities. Proposals. We're going to boost prevention programs throughout the state. We will boost the availability of overdose reversal drugs, and we're going to enhance intervention and addiction treatment services. We will also crack down on the prescribers and the pharmaceutical companies who do not follow the law, holding those who have unleashed this epidemic into our communities accountable. So we're going to be tough, smart, and we will also proceed with empathy for the families caught up in this crisis. I will direct my health department to adopt the long-standing recommendation from the Medical Cannabis Advisory Board to include opioid addiction as a qualifying condition. Stand in the way of our neighbors who are struggling with addiction and want to recover. Instead, let's help them all along the way. Now, when I spoke with New Mexicans every day over the past 2+ years, I heard their concerns about their own health care, too. I know that you have heard from them as well. Nowhere is this concern greater than with our behavioral health system. And we may disagree from time to time about the size or the role of government, but I think we all share the belief that it is a duty of the state to provide those with mental illness, those dealing with substance abuse, and their families, and that we absolutely have the capacity to do something about it. This is basic humanity, which is why we will rebuild that health system, the behavioral health system, brick by brick, together, starting this session. Session and in the coming years, when we explore strategies that will reduce cost and increase patient access, I want us to emphasize improved patient care better health outcomes, and building sustainable relationships between patients and providers. And to that end, I have directed the Department of Health and the Human Services Department to work with the Superintendent of Insurance to reduce reporting requirements and burdens on our healthcare providers. The message to providers and patients is this: better delivery over bureaucracy. All of our providers, all of our doctors and nurses, all of our practitioners, they should spend more time taking care of their patients, and patients should spend less time worrying about what they can and cannot afford. Let's get that right. And let us also show the women of this state that we will not allow faraway federal judges to determine autonomy over their bodies. Unfortunately, I think you all know who I'm talking about. The nefarious Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Just making sure you're still with me. The old criminal abortion law of this state, only 1 of 9 left in the entire country, must go. Bring me that bill and I will sign it. I have outlined in this budget how we also begin to address the vacancies at our Children, Youth, and Families Department. Under incredible new leadership at CYFD, we will finally be proactive in protecting our vulnerable children. Thank you. My budget calls for 100 new positions in the Protective Services Division alone. And when this legislature adjourns, I expect bills on my desk that will deliver a jolt of new energy to child well-being in this state. But in the meantime, our reinvigorated Children's Cabinet will work with key departments to ensure that needs are being met and that we are at the forefront of innovations in service. And I also want to take this opportunity to applaud Mayor Tim Keller for recently announcing a similar sort of idea. And I want to encourage all public officers throughout New Mexico to be considering how we can come together and leverage our respective positions and our resources to deliver a turnaround on child well-being in this state. That's how we get it done together. And speaking of getting things done, probably want this speech to end, but there's more. Bring me the rocket docket. Bring it. Bring it to me. These are bills which so many of you, bipartisan, worked so hard on in the recent past. They include good, productive ideas for this state. We will not cast off those good ideas anymore. Support for our land grants and acequias, a bill to support our farmers and ranchers engaged in value-added agriculture, a bill that will make grants available to nonprofits that provide legal services to low-income New Mexicans, a bill that supports midwives in rural communities. Sense changes to lobbyist expenditure reports to enhance transparency. Okay, you can clap it up. I don't know that the lobbyists were clapping, but that's okay. All of these ideas, all of these are measures. They show that we are taking the opportunity right now, this session, to make positive change a reality. And as we do the work to make this state a better and a safer place to live and raise a family, we will also be aggressive in making New Mexico a better place to work and do business. Finally, building a broader economy that works for all New Mexicans requires boldness from us in this session. And that means starting now, the workers in New Mexico who earn the least will know dignity in their work. More than 110,000 New Mexicans make $7.50 an hour. This is a poverty wage, and I do not intend to lead a state where we simply tolerate poverty in our communities. These are our children. They're our neighbors. These are members of our extended New Mexico family. No one who works hard in this state should be left behind, which means we're going to send a very clear message to New Mexico families by making $7.50 an hour a thing of the past. $10 now. $12 soon. Index that to inflation so that the rate is fair forever after that. And women in this state will see equal pay in my term. New Mexico can and will be the national leader on gender equality. And for our, thank you. All right. And for all our tireless state employees, I have proposed tiered raises so that those who currently earn the least will see a 4% raise. And the minimum wage for state employees will rise to $12 an hour beginning on July 1. Let's make this happen. Let's make it happen. I have also proposed an expansion of the Working Families Tax Credit, which we know, right, creates a ladder out of poverty, providing child care programs so parents can continue to get meaningful support even as they do the hard work to transform themselves and their families' fortunes for the better. These are the New Mexicans we need to invest in, the New Mexicans who want something better for their children. We can and we will help them on their way. Our Local Development Act is a great example of how public-private partnerships can in fact elevate communities in the state. Not just the cities and towns, but groups of people with an idea, committed entrepreneurs who just need a little extra help to get going. All across the state, we have seen the positive results of our investments. LEDA works. So this year, let's double it. Let's show, double it. Let's show our New Mexico business women and men that we mean business. Let's show this country that New Mexico is more than one industry. And let's show our communities that we know local businesses provide good jobs to local residents and have a cascading positive effect on their street corner, neighborhood, and region. And we can further amplify our local businesses by investing an additional percentage point from our severance tax permanent fund, delivering $50 million straight into homegrown mom and pop businesses, enlivening all of our communities all across New Mexico. our job training incentive program assists companies across New Mexico, especially those in our rural communities, training workers in high-paying jobs. We can and we will boost our homegrown small businesses. Now, our film and television industry is a powerful tool for economic development statewide. The flurry of film activity in Santa Fe and Albuquerque can and will spread all over the state, and when we lift the rebate cap, the industry in our state will be broader, including our pueblos and tribes, our rural communities, workers up and down the economic spectrum. When productions come here, they put New Mexicans to work. And whether you're on the crew or whether you're a caterer, whether you're an aspiring filmmaker of your own and you need a foot in the door, an apprenticeship, an opportunity to start making your mark, these film and television productions showcase our great outdoors to a global audience and give young New Mexicans an exciting career ladder. People in the farthest corners of this planet know New Mexico as the great American West because of our film industry. And people in the most important offices in Hollywood know New Mexico has the greatest crew base, greatest above-the-line talent, greatest facilities, vistas, and scenery in the entire U.S. And so today, we have an opportunity right now to begin investing so that we have opportunity in the coming years that we can accelerate what's going on in the film industry. Filmmakers have put millions of dollars into our local economies, but that poorly designed cap on what we can rebate in any given year has left us with a hefty unpaid tab. And here's what I believe. In New Mexico, we keep our promises. And now we build a smarter system to ensure we keep New Mexicans working. I call on you to embrace the aggressive and proactive plan I laid out in my budget. We will pay off the backlog left to us by the previous administration, all of it this year. Because I want Hollywood to hear me. I want talented young New Mexico writers, producers, and actors to hear me. I want movie makers across the globe to hear me. We are open for business. Bring your cameras. Bring them. I'd also like to address the veterans who are here and who are listening out there. Thank you. We thank you for your incredible service and sacrifice. And I have directed our state personnel office to immediately formulate a policy that will lead to more veterans being hired by our state agencies right now. And I have directed our Department of Veteran Services under bold new leadership that we will be significantly strengthened, and they will be playing an active role in the lives of our veterans, from college education to healthcare to caregiving assistance and so much more. Our veterans and their families have given everything for us, and now it is our turn to give right back. Thank you again. And once upon a time when I was the Secretary of Aging, I had the privilege of learning directly from tribal elders about tribal sovereignty and the importance of government-to-government relationships. And under this administration, we will see a full restoration of positive, collaborative relationships between the state and our tribes. build an effective intergovernmental framework by working directly with the sovereign native nations of New Mexico. No more disregard, no more disrespect. Let us begin renewing these essential relationships starting today. All right, let us also take time in this session to recognize our incredible infrastructure needs and to act with the sense of urgency that the situation, quite frankly, demands. Too many of our bridges are rated structurally deficient. Too many of our roads are in bad shape, endangering drivers, even cyclists and pedestrians. We have improvements to make in our water systems, our dams, our school buildings, broadband internet in our rural communities, right? All of these items need our attention right now, and we have a chance to transform our infrastructure, to promote and leverage serious economic development while we address critical community needs. I call on you to work with me in expanding and fast-tracking these investments. Infrastructure is the bedrock of our communities and our state. It is the foundation of a diversified economic growth that we all envision for the state. We must make these critical investments in safer communities and a stronger economy. And for the thousands of federal workers in the state who have seen their lives unfairly held hostage by this unnecessary government shutdown, this state will step up wherever we can. And indeed, in so many ways we already have. While other states are scrambling to preserve federal funds and programs that are now at risk or already overspent, New Mexico is taking charge and is demonstrating proactive leadership amid this chaos. Almost 500 staff members at the Human Services Department have been working overtime through the weekend to ensure tens of thousands of New Mexico families will continue to receive their food benefits, and our Department of Health worked overtime to ensure that our Women, Infants, and Children Program recipients will continue to receive benefits into April. Our Department of Workforce Solutions has waived the work search requirement for the 1,000-plus federal employees who have already filed for unemployment benefits, making it a little bit easier for the hardworking breadwinners who have it so hard right now. And we will continue to build on this effort as long as the shutdown lasts. And I will need your support to make sure that none of these federal workers continues to feel like they're being held hostage in this environment. New Mexico has your back. And our great outdoors, it rivals any in the world. So outdoor recreation is an opportunity begging for investment. Now, when we install an outdoor recreation coordinator in this state, that office will make sure that New Mexico is on the map for bikers, hikers, campers, hunters, and fishermen and fisherwomen the world over. And yes, the first Manny, I still have the world's record. I got the biggest fish. When we boost our tourism and marketing campaigns, we show more of the world how beautiful our state is and how badly they need to come visit. But if we want to show off our wide open spaces, then we've got to keep preservation on the front burner. The U.S. Climate Alliance is a bipartisan group of governors who have committed to upholding the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement, and New Mexico will now join it. An executive order committing us to those goals in the very near future, and I will direct each state agency to participate in developing a comprehensive climate plan for New Mexico that responds to the threat of a warming planet by reducing carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas pollution. Because we know we cannot rely on the federal government right now to lead us on climate action. It is our responsibility, and indeed our moral obligation, to ensure this planet and this state are preserved for our children and for their children. I have committed to increasing our renewable portfolio standard, 50% renewable energy by 2030 and 80% 10 years after that. And I ask you to fulfill that commitment with me, not as a ceiling, but as a starting point with an ultimate goal of even greater renewable production. This is our promise to future generations of New Mexicans, because clean energy is the future, and we all know New Mexico has the sunshine, and I've shown you today the wind capacity to be a global leader in this new era. Steps we can take to reduce our carbon footprint and ensure we get on and stay on the right path. Our state buildings can be more energy efficient. Wasteful methane emissions can be cut, and in the process, this state will make more money, and more New Mexicans will be put to work. And as I have said, this is a rare moment in New Mexico's history. The ideas we put into action beginning today can truly transform the state, truly reimagine our education system, broaden our economy and our energy sector, and help us realize our full potential. However, I know most of you, and I know you have your own ideas, policies, proposals, and programs to move New Mexico forward. And I recognize that many of you may share my enthusiasm, but not my exact roadmap for how we move ahead. And I get that. And in the 60 days ahead, I promise you this: I will listen as much as I talk. I swear, really, I can do it. I'm going to do it. I can do this. Now, for the new members of the legislature, I used to get my full budget by refusing to be quiet in the House Appropriations Committee. But listening to each other is important work, and it is all too often lost, particularly in the day-to-day frenzy of doing the good work for New Mexicans and our constituents. And we each deserve the opportunity to be heard and respected and to do the work that we ultimately know can make the difference. I do, in fact, absolutely and unequivocally. I want to learn from you. I want to incorporate as many of your good ideas into mine, into solid legislation and policy making for New Mexico. We will be bold and prudent. We will be aggressive and smart. We will be fearless and well prepared, and above all else, in the forthcoming period of hard work and beyond, let us all remember the people who sent us here. Let all of us, Republicans and Democrats, keep in mind all through these long days and nights the New Mexicans we are here to represent, the children who deserve the best possible educational system, the educators who deserve the best possible institutional support, the families who deserve safety and prosperity, the workers who deserve the chance to work their way up, the veterans, police officers, and firefighters who deserve our gratitude, the small business owners who deserve our support, the New Mexicans who simply want to see their vision of a healthier state come to fruition. We are those New Mexicans. In this room, there are educators, there are public safety officers, coaches, doctors, lawyers, a lot of lawyers. And together, we can and will show New Mexico and this country what good government looks like. We can and will serve as a reminder that progress happens collaboratively we can and will do the work to make this day one of the brand new Nuevo Mexico. Thank you. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are you ready? All right.
Message. If we can all take our seats now. At this time, we're going to introduce the guests that we have and recognize them for their service